This story is part of Forbes's coverage of Malaysia's richest 2021. See the full list here. Malaysia is a powerhouse in the $28 billion global rubber glove industry, producing nearly two-thirds of the world's supply, and prices have tripled this year due to a global shortfall of 80 billion rubber gloves. U.S. buyers, meanwhile, are shifting purchasing to Malaysia from China, allowing the industry to double glove exports last year to 35.3 billion ringgit, $8.8 billion. All this boosted the fortunes of 5 founders of Malaysia's glove companies, even though their stocks have come off last year's highs as countries roll out vaccines. The wealthiest is Kuan of Hartalega Holdings, who saw his fortune, shared with his brother, rise to $3.8 billion as Hartalega shares gained 60%. Last year, the company sold 31 billion pieces and launched a $63 million expansion. We estimate that demand in developed countries has increased by 40% while demand in developing countries has more than doubled, Kuan says by email. Lim Wee Chai, founder of Top Glove, saw his fortune nearly triple to $3.5 billion. Revenue for the half-year ended February 28 was 10 billion ringgit, surpassing the total of 7.2 billion ringgit for the last fiscal year ended in August. We have a strong balance sheet and such times may provide us with acquisition opportunities, Lim says by email. The company sold 62 billion pieces in fiscal 2020. Lim Kwong Sia re-enters the list after 4 years, fueled by a 77% surge in shares of Kuan Rubber Industries, controlled by him and his brothers. Revenue rose 65% to 3.6 billion ringgit and net profit was up nearly fivefold to 1.1 billion ringgit last year. We grow in stages and we sustain the growth. We have a record of unbroken profitability since we started in 1979, says Lim. Stanley Tai of Supermax Corp. also rejoins the list after a 6-year hiatus. Shares of Supermax, controlled by Tai and wife Cheryl Tan, jumped over 400% in the past year, propelling their combined fortune to $1.1 billion. Supermax is building 5 new factories over the next 2 years and is looking to double total capacity to more than 48 billion gloves by 2022. The company also started making face masks during the pandemic. Wong Teek Sun, who co-founded glove maker Riverstone Holdings, saw his wealth rise 187% to $890 million as demand surged both for medical and industrial gloves. Company shares skyrocketed in the past year as revenue rose 85% to 1.8 billion ringgit in 2020. The current boom may outlast the pandemic. Demand will still be robust as all industries from food and beverage to technology to cruise liners to airlines will increase their usage of gloves, says Malaysian Rubber Glove Manufacturers Association President Supramaniam Shanmugam.